Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Whispers of Inner Power, this interview series. Today, we're meeting with you, and I'm so honored to have you here. Jennifer Arnspiger, am I pronouncing it correct?
Arnspiger. So close.
Arnspiger.
Yeah.
Arnspiger. So, just to introduce you rapidly, you help deeply sensitive women heal their relationships with their bodies, their stories, and their sense of self through somatic writing. You're a certified integrative somatic trauma therapy coach and a somatic writing coach. And you're passionate about honoring what our bodies have been through, the stories and emotions they hold, so we can find inner peace and healing. Thank you so much for being here with us. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. So excited to be part of this with you.
Thank you so much. It's so cool. Yes. I have a few questions for you. So, first of all, for those of us who are joining us, we have a written part of this interview that you can go through at your own pace. And this is kind of an add on bonus that builds on the answers that Jennifer wrote for us. My question is a big one.
Okay, let's dive right in.
Right in. What has it meant for you to be a deeply sensitive person? How has it shaped your life and business? And what have you needed to do differently?
Well, you're right. That is a big question. Um, what has it meant to me to be a deeply sensitive person? I think that the biggest answer that comes up is the realization that I am changed the way I operate in every way. Um, and Like, it's like night and day. It couldn't be more different. It's and somehow putting the language to it, like, "You're a deeply sensitive person. Here's what that means. This is
Mhm.
how your nervous system operates. This is what your body needs. These are the challenges that you and all other deeply sensitive people experience." So it's validating, but it's also, like, this really important guide in terms of if you don't honor your deep sensitivity, you're gonna suffer.
Mhm.
And I feel like most sensitive people have a lot of suffering in their experience. So it's about interrupting that pattern, just realizing that you are, and really, I say honoring, but being able to eventually, hopefully, celebrate the fact that you are is like the game changer. But it's tough, man. In terms of business, I feel like it makes most of the advice that is commonly circulated, like the loudest advice, right? Like the bro marketing and the sales psychology to within an inch of its life messaging that we get that makes us click, but we don't really know why, and the program doesn't really wind up being great. Those kinds of things.
Mhm.
I Those feel counter to me, just like in a deep body sort of way, doing that. When people explain to me, do this, if you use this language, you'll trick this part of the brain. It's like, I don't want to do that. So in a lot of ways, the more I honor my sensitivity, the more I feel like it slows my business down,
Mhm.
and it becomes less about going viral or a meteoric rise and more about, like, I don't know, calling the right people who are in with me for the long haul, because I work with somatics and trauma integration and story integration, and all of those things take time. And the more comfortable I am with my sensitivity and the more deep I get into my business, the more I just want to slow down, give everyone else the opportunity to slow down, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I recognize so much of, myself in what you're saying, but also the people I talk with. And I see it how I'm being interrupted with my kids and life gets messy and that's okay.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go to the other room now. Thank you, children.
You know what my version of this is? What just happened to you, life being life?
Yeah.
It's when I have a commitment, like I send this newsletter out every week, or I told people that I was going to get this to them by this date, and then my body has no capacity. And so I have to choose, are you going to burn yourself out to keep that promise, or are you just going to be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't get that to you quite that soon? That's so
Right.
my version of what just happened.
Well, thank you so much for bringing me that space and compassion right now. And I think, yeah, for me, that's part of it is to be tense less. I still tense when it happens, and then I'm like reminding myself, no, but wait, that's not what I'm promoting, and that's not. I'm actually telling people that it's okay,
Yeah.
and that's life being life, just like you said. And so what? Kids are kids, and they're gonna come, and sometimes we don't have capacity, and sometimes we have. I know people who battle with migraines, or they have chronic
Mhm.
pain, or
Yeah.
chronic fatigue, or whatever. You can
Yeah.
just do it what you have and do the best
Exactly.
of it.
Yeah.
And I always say,
That's
like,
what I
we're
think.
yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead, go ahead. No, it's
I just
fine, it's
think
fine.
that's what I think is so gorgeous about this series that you're doing is shining a light on how very imperfect and human it is, how behind this glossy facade of businesses, we're all just people trying to make some kind of good impact in the world. And it's
Exactly.
okay to be tender and sensitive and imperfect and human. It's hard to reverse that messaging, right?
Yes.
That's really
Yes, it is,
important.
because it's deeply ingrained, and, like, I've
Mm.
I've been in business for 8 years, and, I really resonated with what you said, this thing of, like, just going to some, summits or events, or taking a course, or even books. Business books are so triggering. You just read that and you're, like, feeling so inadequate.
Yes. That's the perfect word.
Like, I cannot do this. It's not for
Yeah.
me. So there's no place for someone like me in business. Which is, it couldn't be further from the truth. And
Mhm.
I think we need more people like us, not us, you and me, but us as a tribe,
Yeah.
to change, I don't know, the environment. I like this
Life
image.
happening.
Life is being life. That's completely fine. Do you need to go somewhere?
No, I'm just really sorry if there's noise.
No, no, it's fine. I just, maybe it was a delivery or something at your door. Could happen.
This is so good, Jessica. This is, like, exactly why we're here.
Exactly. I love that. And it's so interesting as well, because I told you from the beginning, I'm not going to edit. It's raw. It's a conversation. It's the only way for me to do it. Let's have it. Let's, talk, chat, and
Yeah,
then it's on. Otherwise, it will never go out. I know myself. So progress over perfection, right? Um,
absolutely.
and I forgot what I was saying, but that doesn't matter. It's
You were talking about the importance of the tribe and how, like, we really need to be getting this message out there. And as a really quick note on that, I really appreciated that because in my quiet, like, alone, me and my laptop trying to do my business, right? And there's a lot of emotion that we have to contend with to just show up and to all the things. But uh, somebody just called me and I lost my train of thought. Um, but when I am alone, like, in my space, thinking about how not great I'm doing, how I should be doing it differently, how I should be doing better, my heart is so bolstered by people like you who show up in their whole, beautiful, messy lives and situations and talk anyway. It feeds a strength in me that goes, okay, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really is really
It's the same for
important.
me. And we need to keep on inspiring each other. And I think, and that's why I invited you, because that's one of the inspirations as well. And be like, okay, so we can do this. If you can do it, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Other can do it, and it's fine. And we're just, you know, yeah, keeping that kind of light and strength off of each
Yeah.
other. And yeah, thank you so much for mentioning, like, you need to, I agree with you that something I share a lot as well, how I need, personally, I need a ritual. I need a practice that I put in place to regulate my nervous system to keep showing up in this stressful, unpredictable environment that is life and business.
Mhm.
Do you have one? Do you have a special routine, practice, or ritual, or something that you're doing to regulate yourself?
In terms of business specifically or just
Both. Business
um,
and life.
I just this sort of goes back to the highly sensitive person thing. I sort of do like I have a practice and I fit it where I can fit it.
Hmm.
And the practice is really basic. It's just tea or a cup of coffee, nobody anywhere near me in a space. Like, just give me energetic and physical aloneness and get cozy, like get, lay in bed or get cozy under a blanket in a comfy chair. Headphones in, music that helps regulate me, because I'm a big use music to emotionally regulate person. And then just let me work. And it usually is, let me focus on the creative side of my business, but let me just let my brain sort of unravel and soften and unfurl and say what I want. And it's a different energy than when you're trying to, like, you have to cram this in, and what do I have to make sure I say? And you know what I mean?
Completely. Yeah.
And that, if I can have like 3-4 good solid hours of that, it's such an emotional and energetic and nervous system reset. It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have like a toolbox, sorry, of things to do. I sometimes it's just scary or triggering to, I don't know, reach out to people, and invite them to a podcast, or
Yeah.
to connect, or to pitch my services, or to send a contract, like whatever, the
Yeah.
things that are asking you more visibility. Like for me, it's always a process to get there.
Mhm.
I was recording my own podcast a few years ago when I thought this was a possibility with a child at home, but obviously that's not possible right now. But anyways, I was doing this solo episodes, and I was witnessing how every week I had anxiety 24 hours before. I was like, what's going on? And so that's when, like you said, it's first recognizing I am a deeply sensitive person is going to impact me. There are subconscious and conscious reasons why this is happening and why I'm tensing up. If
Yeah.
I recognize it and don't try to fight it, then instead I can prepare for it and anticipate. I'm like, what do I need to feel better in my body? Maybe it's movement, maybe it's deep breath, maybe it's music. I love music as well. Uh, how much do I need to be prepared? Because that helps me to, like, okay, this is what I need to say, no matter how it goes out, but this is what I want to
Mhm.
say. And yeah, and I have this toolbox. So it's just a few things I said here, but I have like many. It's like just
Yeah.
pick, oh, right now I will, do some deep stretching and have a cup of tea, like you were saying, or I'll put ice somewhere when I'm a bit too
Mhm. Oh,
nervous
that's
about
really
something.
interesting. Huh.
Yeah, bringing back into the body. And that was my next question for you, because you work a lot with the body, and I wanted to ask because I see this pattern in myself in sensitive people, that we have had times of being completely disconnected from our bodies. I remember my first therapist when I was 25 who told me it's like you're a floating head with nobody to which you connect or identify. Is it something that you observe in the people that you work with?
Disconnection from their body?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. But it's interesting because for a long time I was circling the phrase dissociation, because when I landed on it, for me that felt like, yeah, that's what it is. I'm separate from everything that my body is holding, that my body can't handle, that I can't bear to feel or admit.
Hmm.
But what so where was I going to go with that? It almost I struggle with the phrase disconnected from our bodies, because I think what's true for me and what I have found is true for many, if not all, of the people that I work with is it's it's almost more disconnection from your experience and your feelings about that than your actual body.
Hmm.
Because and this is why the term deeply feels better to me than highly sensitive person, is because I feel like it's like so much noise and chaos on the inside. It's so much repression and fear and worry and shame and chaos and static and noise on the inside, that it's more about finding a way to be with, or like drain that cup, so that you can actually be present with yourself. And what I find is, once that cup gets drained through journaling or through talking or some other like body releasing modality, it's the connection is there. It's just like it's super buried under all of these layers of stuff that is so hard to manage or work with on your own.
Yeah.
So, like the writing and the music, it's interesting to look at my business this way because so much of what I invite is like, get that out of you so
Yeah.
that you can just be with yourself and have some peace, you know?
Yeah. I
Does
love
that
that
answer the
because
question?
that yeah, it does. And I think I love it because it just, this rephrasing, this reframing somehow. Because I remember how it landed in me when I heard, oh, you're disconnected from your body. It felt shaming. It felt that wasn't
Mm,
the intention of the therapist, but I felt shame. I felt
yeah,
like, oh, I've been doing things wrong, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Silly me, I'm
yeah,
disconnected from my body. But when you phrase it like the connection's always there, it's just that there's a coping mechanism really to just continue doing life despite everything that you feel.
right,
Um, it's so much more empowering in a way. Like if it's just that it's been buried, somehow it feels more feasible to
right,
bury it out,
right.
to carve
And
out the truth, your truth, and to be
yeah,
able to sit with that and find safety inside.
yeah. And don't you feel like it sort of brings forth even a tiny little feeling of more compassion toward
Yeah.
yourself? Like you were saying, it's not the intention of people, but that's such an internalized message that we carry just because we're sensitive, right? There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That the idea that if you could just do this one thing for yourself, you'll feel more like yourself and there's nothing really wrong with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah.
It makes me think of this. So we're talking about safety and about this shaming kind of message, even if it's not really that intention behind. And one of the things that's made me tick lately is how, there's been so much talk, especially on social media or in the world of well-being in general, about how it's important for us to set healthier boundaries. And I feel that that lacks compassion and that lacks explanation as well. Because when you say, just set healthier boundaries, oh, yeah, again, silly me, like, sure, I'll just
Why
do
didn't
that.
I think of that? Yeah.
But it's not that easy, is it? What's
No.
your journey been with boundaries?
Oh my God. You know, this interview is a real exercise in how to condense like years of conversation into like 3 minutes. So here we
Yes.
go. I'll try. Um, I am totally with you. I think telling someone to just have boundaries is one of the most oversimplified things that's like floating around the advice universe, wellness advice universe. I think boundaries only become doable in a way that doesn't take from you. So like the problem is sensitive people, we already know if I set a boundary with this person, it's going to hurt. They're going to react this way. They're probably going to shame me and they're going to trigger me 6 ways from Sunday. Like we already know. So
Yeah.
the reason that we don't set them is because of what we have unresolved or triggering or like somehow we're not good enough inside ourselves. And I like the term embodied narratives for that kind of thing, right? So if we deal with the embodied narrative that I'm not allowed to say something, or if they react that way, it means this about me. If we can heal that here, it becomes so much easier to just advocate for yourself where you need to.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I feel like for sensitive people, you're like putting up the shield with your arms shaking, thinking, oh my God, this is going to kill me. And that's not helping you, you know?
No. Yeah, and it makes me maybe you're talking to me. It has made me in the past, and I think probably still today, come off as aggressive or
Yeah.
feisty because
Yeah.
I'm shaking inside to put that. It's like, oh, okay, chill.
Oh
But
my
there is
God,
no
because
there is no
yeah.
other way. Like I couldn't say it with softness because it's not soft inside because I know I'm gonna have to fight for it because I know how it's gonna make me feel. I know what's at risk. And
Yeah.
it's not just, oh, I risk a conflict. No, I risk rejection and judgment and hurt. And that's huge. For me, I think
Yeah.
I've started being able to set boundaries with close people in my life maybe 5 years ago. And I'm 42, and just being able to say, and I mean, what it required of me to be able to say, this is not okay, and this is where I
Mhm.
draw the line. I had to, it's very extreme. I had to go to a place where I was sitting and I had to think it's okay if this relationship ends. It's okay if I'm abandoned again. It's okay if I'm rejected. So I can tell you my truth. But it's so extreme because it never
It is.
happens, you know? But I
It
had
is.
to work to be okay with it. Hi, can you please go play with daddy so mommy can finish her interview? See, I was softer this time. I was less.
Yeah, I did notice actually, and I love what you're saying about this because as ever, I feel like we could talk for hours on this and all of your gorgeous subjects, but what you touched on about how I can't be soft in my delivery because it doesn't feel soft inside. That's so perfectly, like, guttingly stated. And what is being like, so the ending message that maybe we could leave sensitive people with is that ah, right out of my head. What is that? Um, it's just it's like the idea of setting boundaries triggers deep core wounds, like you mentioned
Yes.
abandonment, and that's a thing. And it's like what you're doing, helping sensitive entrepreneurs understand that your sensitivity and your fallibility and humanness is not a problem.
Yeah.
Same with like being able to hold boundaries in business and with people just in your life, you know? I think that's
Yeah.
really important. I'm so glad you said it.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's a journey to find that safety within, I think. And
Yeah,
it's a journey of, I don't know, of almost reparenting yourself, almost, I mean, completely reparenting yourself and
totally.
being there and having that conversation. And I work myself a lot with internal family system of, I literally have like this, okay, I'm going to be there for you. And it's fine if we say that. And having, anyways, I'll talk about IFS another time, but
Yeah.
it's really this reconciliation inside and this safety inside from no matter what happens, because we need to say this truth. I'm
Yeah.
here for myself, and that's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. And it sort of happens in tandem in my experience anyway with business. It's much easier to do in business, I think, obviously, because there's less personal trigger, but it's the same. It's like I don't have the capacity right now, or I can't post on Instagram 7 days a week for this month. I just can't. Is everyone going to leave me? So there's that abandonment wound again, or
Mm,
your lack of worth, or you're just not good enough. But if you can come to a place where the people who really get you understand, and maybe you're empowering someone else to be like, I can't do Instagram this month, then you have to be okay with it's not that different actually as I'm talking to you from family, right? You have to be okay with losing people who expect from you more than you can give
or
comfortably.
some are
Yeah,
different than what you are. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I found that for me, my journey business has been as triggering as my personal relationships.
Easily. Easily. Same.
Honestly, and it's yeah, it's a work in progress, and I think I've been able, of course, over the years to shift my mindset around things and be more empowered and see things from a different perspective, as well.
That's
But
huge.
regulation is still key. If I didn't have somatic regulation tools, I wouldn't be able to write, I don't know, a third of what I'm writing currently. And, you know,
Same.
I'm being super vulnerable in what I write, and I think so are you.
Mm.
That doesn't come from a place of, let's do it anyways, you wouldn't be able to
I'll
do it
just sit down and knock
consistently.
this out in 10 minutes. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, this
Um,
has been so nice. I so wish that we could talk like for the rest of the afternoon.
Yes, that's not going to happen, but we can have other interviews and other collaborations in the future. You're always welcome to use this place to share with us your journey, your story, and your tools. A last little thing: if someone is listening to this and they're thinking, "Wow, I need to start the journey of feeling home in my body again," what would you say where they could start?
Um, well, if you feel called towards writing, journaling somatically can be a great way to help you do that gently and at the depth and the pace that feels right for you. Um, and I have tons of resources to help you do that if you're interested. But generally, if it's not about the writing, I would say just give yourself permission to recognize that that powdery sort of anxious feeling you get right behind your sternum when you think of honoring yourself and what you want or what you need or how you like to do things. If you get the presence of that sensation is not necessarily a bad thing. It's like it's an indicator that your body is kind of whispering yes please. So maybe just start listening to yourself more and realizing that the people who are loudest in our spaces, they don't necessarily know the best for you. They're just the loudest in our spaces.
I want to hug you. Thank you so much for saying that. It just lands here. I think it's well, an experience that I've had over and over, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've heard other people share that. It's such soothing words that you just shared. So thank you so much for your time and for this moment together. For our listeners, if you're curious about Jennifer's work, head over to her website, jenniferarnspiger.com, and sign up for beautiful, beautiful newsletters. And I'll, of course, link everything in the description of the video. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you,
Thank you
Jennifer.
so much, Jessica. It was a deep pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.